And we're live, everybody. We were just doing some vocal warm-ups.
We'll save that for another time.
Yes, another time. Hello, Rodney.
Rodney's first in. Hello.
Derek, what is up? Oh, it's Anna on Derek's account. What's up?
Oh.
Alfred, Ruby, thanks for coming. Chris, thanks so much for coming.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this holiday weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you could all be doing something. Actually, probably not. In most places, you're probably stuck at home, no matter what. So,
yeah.
Hey, if you're going to be stuck with anyone, we're glad you're stuck with us.
Yes.
Cynthia. Hi, Mike's mom.
Hi, Mike's mom.
Is Mike okay?
Yeah, let's go. I got a new light, so I won't be blue anymore. But because of that, my background is dark. Yeah. No more blues. Okay, we are going from 60 to 64.
Oh,
let's go ahead.
70. All right.
All right, boom.
Let's do it.
Okay, in 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 70 of the Attractions Podcast. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Seth.
And we're here to talk to you about the latest and greatest theme park news and more, as well as what's going on in our own lives. So, Seth, what have you done this week?
Other than wearing lots of sweaters, because it's still a little chilly here in Florida, I got to spend a second evening at the Epcot Festival of the Arts. Tasted a few more things. They've got some fun vegan things out there, so I can recommend the plant-based bratwurst if you're into that. But the highlight of my week was we drove about an hour and a half outside of Orlando to the Homosassa Springs State Park to look at some manatees. And they are just amazing creatures. If you've only ever seen them like in a zoo or an aquarium, it's amazing seeing them in the wild. The state park there is kind of neat because they have places where the manatees can come in, but they're not trapped. They can leave and come and get food and then go back into the spring on their own accord. And they also have some endangered animals and animals that were like injured or rescued, so they can't be let loose in the wild, including an African hippo that, I kid you not, was made a legal citizen of Florida by the governor and has been living there for like 60 years.
Does he pay taxes?
I hope so. The rest of us do, so he should too. But yeah, that was a really neat little side trip. The county that it's in is not really into social distancing, so beware that other people might not be wearing masks. But luckily it's outdoors and there's plenty of elbow room, so as long as you're prepared for that, we had a really great time.
That's awesome. Yeah. Man, I want to go. I didn't really.
And Brittany, how about you?
I just did some kind of like general life housekeeping things. I got a haircut.
Nice.
I got new glasses. So yeah, I'm going like the round thing. I'm really into that.
I think I'm gonna go there too. My next ones.
Do it. I really like these. I just got them from internet. I feel like Timmy Turner from Fairly Odd Parents. Like,
internet. What? I will buy everything off the internet, but for some reason eyeglasses are one thing that I feel like I need to go into an actual place and see an actual doctor.
That's fair. Yeah, I went to a doctor to get my prescription updated, but then I bought the glasses online. We've been kind of laying low because we do live in Austin, and next week we all know what that is. So just been kind of chilling out at home. I played through Detroit Become Human, which was really good. It's like it's from the studio that did Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain. It's like a visual narrative experience with some quick time events and stuff. It's very basic as far as its gameplay, but the acting and the story is so good. If you like dystopian future, are they androids or people? human rights kinds of stories. It's from 2018, so I'm like way behind, but it
I
was
feel like I've been living through a dystopian thing about human rights for the
yep.
last couple of years.
I'm
How about a nice Lego game? Hmm?
I have Lego Harry Potter for
All right.
days like that. But that's all I've really done this week. Not
Nice.
nothing super exciting. Oh, see, Michael says it's good. It is very good. I finished it today. I managed to cram it into a weekend.
Awesome.
But I suppose without any further ado, we have a lot to talk about. Last week was kind of traumatic
Yeah.
in a
Let
lot of ways.
let's do without ado.
Let's
Do.
do without ado and get into the new news. All right. First up, some cute news. Disney Nuimos, I hope I said that right, Minnie Plush are coming to the Disney parks next week. And I like them. I think they're really cute. If they feel dangerous to me because I know that once I start, I won't be able to stop because I'm a collector slash hoarder kind of mentality.
I wasn't that impressed with these until I saw the scale of them. Once you see them up against that popcorn box for scale, they're so cute
They're
because
little.
they're so tiny. I think if they were bigger, they wouldn't be as adorable. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not the kind of person who's into buying like the Tsum Tsums and all those things. But they're really going all out by partnering with people like Her Universe, it looks like, and Loungefly to make exclusive ones. I'm sure your people are going to spend a lot of money on these.
See, that's why I'm saying it's dangerous because
Yeah.
like I am like an amiibo person. Like
Hmm.
I have them everywhere. And I saw these and I was just like, oh no, they're cute.
Yeah.
There are so many clothing options that cover not just like Disney fashion, but international fashion, New York, Tokyo, street style. The fact that Spirit Jersey is on board making tiny little Spirit jerseys for these little things, and Loungefly making teeny tiny backpacks is hilarious to me. um, it's so unlike what we get over here in the States as far as merchandise goes. It's very Japanese, and I love it.
So these are going to release on the 19th, which is
Yes.
this coming Tuesday. And are these releasing anywhere in the parks? Are we going to see lines of people
Oh,
for
geez.
these?
For what I understand, they'll be available at Walt Disney World in some locations. I would assume the big box stores like Emporium and what have you.
All right.
And they'll
So
also be available on Shop Disney if you're not local to the parks.
so we can expect to see the eBay resellers lining up at Magic Kingdom on Tuesday morning and leaving the park 3 minutes after opening with giant bags, probably.
Yep.
Yep.
What 10 of everything.
Yep.
These will also be coming to downtown Disney at Disneyland at a later date, as well as Disneyland Paris. So keep an eye out. They come in Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Stitch, and Angel, who I thought was an interesting addition
Hmm.
because she's not normally represented these days. But
Nope.
anyway, cute. Gonna lose all my money. Over at Legoland Florida Resort, they're gearing up for their Pirate Fest weekends to celebrate their new water ski show. And to kick off that entire event, Nick Walenda, the daredevil himself, will be walking across a high wire 5 stories up to celebrate Brickbeard's water sports stunt show and Pirate Fest weekends.
Oh, this
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 makes me
terrifies
nervous.
me. I know he is a professional and has done this kind of thing all around the world.
Mhm.
But he comes from a family that I believe has some history with these things going wrong. And
Oh,
And how I guess have you brought your kids to the this hotel, and if something did happen, I'm sure it's all being done safely. That the But yeah, I would definitely be nervous watching this one.
Yeah, he will be up 60 feet in the air and cross from the park to Legoland Pirate Island Hotel. And guess can
Yikes!
watch from the ground. And I just imagine being terrified the whole time. But
It's the distance he's gonna cross is longer than 500 feet. And and his 28-foot balance pole, this is my favorite little detail, will be custom decorated with Legos.
now that has to do something to the weight distribution, right?
Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
has to account for that.
Yes, I love that it says he's going to work closely with the Legoland master builders on that pole. If that pole's what I'm balancing on, you be sure I'm going to work real closely on that.
No weighted Legos
Yeah,
on this thing.
yeah, yeah.
This is just the first in this year's big blowout. If you didn't know, Legoland Florida is turning 10 this year, the big 1-0 double digits, and they've got a year full of stuff going on. If you want to learn more, you can go to legoland.com/Florida and check it out. And say hey to Banks if you drop by. Okay, here's here's some of the big news from this past week. Disneyland Resort is now a vaccination distribution super site.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the rollout of the COVID vaccine, obviously, it's not gone quite as fast as some people had originally hoped.
Mm-hmm.
So places like Los Angeles and Anaheim are bringing on these super point of dispensing or pods, uh, where large numbers of people are going to be able to get the vaccine. And Disneyland is one of them, along with Dodger Stadium, Padres Stadium, Cal Expo. Um, Now, some places I think erroneously might have reported that the vaccinations were going to be going on inside the theme park. It's not like you're going to ride Space Mountain and someone's going to jab you in the arm on the low. No, I believe it's going to be like the parking lots, or maybe um, the downtown Disney area that this is going to be happening. But you're not going to be going inside the theme parks itself for this, as from what I understand.
I was watching Adam the Woo, and he drove by the parking lot, and they had a bunch of tents set up
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
This was before they officially opened to the public. This was supposed to open at some point in the past week. I believe it's already opened up to people, but it's by appointment only, so you can't just show up and get a
Right.
vaccination.
Yeah.
Um,
And you do not get a free ride on the teacups,
no,
with your shot. Yeah. Sorry.
no. But this is, I mean, to see Disneyland and Disney at large take a part in this entire thing and help the people of Orange County get vaccinated so that way we
Yep.
can, at some point, reach
Yep.
normalhood again is great. And
Well, it's definitely in Disneyland's best interest to get
that too.
people in its area vaccinated as soon as possible so that they can get back to work.
Yes. And the announcement that we've all been kind of sitting on edge
Hmm.
waiting for to see if it would happen finally happened. Universal Orlando is bringing Mardi Gras back for 2021, but in a different kind of way. This year's event is now called Mardi Gras 2021 International Flavors of Carnival, and it's basically a food festival with float show stops in the streets.
The interesting thing is, I can remember several years ago now taking an annual pass holder survey where Universal was looking into expanding Mardi Gras into more of a international food festival to kind of compete with what Epcot does. And that was long before COVID. That was long before social distancing. So it seems like this is a plan that they've kind of had on the back burner for a while, and it not being practical to have parades and people lining up and waving their hands for beads, or going to the big concerts, this is the perfect opportunity to still do something Mardi Gras themed, and do it safely. In fact, it looks like Universal's going to be having a bigger Mardi Gras than New Orleans because the events in New Orleans itself are pretty much canceled.
Yeah, they're called Yardi Gras. Have you seen that where they like decorate
That's
their houses and their yards?
that's awesome.
I hope they do that every year.
Yep.
But Universal Orlando's event will run from February 6th until March 28th daily. And you can try over 70 dishes and beverages from 13 locations around the world. So it is kind of bringing in that global food festival kind of vibe. And they will have the floats set up in various places throughout the park, kind of similar to what they did with um, Christmas, I guess, but not in one centralized
Hmm.
location. And you'll be able to take pictures and get up close and things like that.
You know, they are doing a Mardi Gras tribute store, where they do the Halloween and the Christmas tribute store, and I've heard some really interesting things about the themes in there. It sounds a lot of
Ooh.
fun. I do wonder if there's going to be anything on a soundstage.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm excited to see, how they set this up with the parade floats around the parks, and also spreading the booths out around the parks for the food. Typically everything from Mardi Gras is crammed into one little corner of the New York area, and I think it'll be cool if they can spread that out and spread the crowds out around the park a little bit more.
There will also be some entertainment, costume dancers, and still performers as you're used to. It'll be interesting to see how that works. I know Busch Gardens just launched their Mardi Gras thing this past weekend.
Hmm. And
Um,
and we talked about that last week, and it really
yes.
sounds very similar.
Yeah.
They both got tasting lanyards. You can almost put it, the check marks one by one, and they're very similar events. The big thing that's missing is the big name concerts that Universal Orlando is known for at Mardi
Yeah.
Gras. Sorry, but concerts are not a thing right now. Come back in 2022. We'll have your concerts then.
I'm glad they at least seem like they're going to try to bring some of the brass musicians that they would have in the streets. I loved those in
Yeah.
Mardi Gras past. So,
Yeah, I think they could probably still get away with the small scale roving musicians,
yeah.
especially if it's not like on a schedule where people are lining up for them.
Yeah. So can't wait for that. I don't think I'll be able to attend. So Seth, you'll have to eat some beignets and
Oh,
crawfish etouffee for
I
me.
will do my best. I will, Universal has always done a pretty good job with Mardi Gras food. Steve Jason,
Oh yeah.
he knows Creole and Cajun cooking. But I'm really excited to see some of these more international things. We've got Caribbean stuff, we've got German stuff, we've got things from all over. So I'm gonna get one of those tasting cards, and I'm gonna work my way around the world for sure.
Belgian waffles.
Mmm.
Belgian waffles. This was a shock, to say the least. Um, yeah. Disney is ending Magical Express at Walt Disney World, and extra magic hours never came back post COVID. It went away,
Mm-hmm.
and
And now
it's just
it's
not coming
returned.
back.
Yep.
And instead, they will be doing early entry, a new form of early entry, and it's it's not complicated, but it definitely feels kind of unfortunate because you're getting a lot less for the perk in exchange.
Right. Well, Magical Express was always very complicated from an economical point of view, in that people thought they were getting a free ride from the airport to their Disney hotel. And just like there's no such thing as a free lunch, there's no such thing as a free bus. You were paying for that bus in the cost of your hotel room. It was just hidden in there. It was invisible, but you were certainly paying for it. Now, I don't expect Disney to lower any of their hotel prices now that that bus is not included. Um, but I think the reason that Disney spent all that money, all those years paying for those buses, is because they felt like people were trapped on property. If they didn't rent a car, uh, to get from the airport, then they were more likely to stay, only go to Disney parks, just go to Disney Springs, and not visit places like SeaWorld or Universal. But now that you've got Uber and Lyft, which allows people to very quickly and cheaply get a ride from anywhere to anywhere, then I don't think Disney was getting the same bang for their buck for that bus.
Mhm.
And with a train being built between the airport and Disney Springs, and travel at an all-time low, I think they decided this was the perfect time to save a little money and get away with cutting another perk.
This was one thing I never got to do.
I used it once, and that was enough. To be honest, it was about the least convenient way. Like
Mm.
on one hand, when the system worked, like when they picked up your luggage for you and delivered it to your hotel room, and it all worked, that's great. But it was a hassle when it didn't work, which was kind of often,
Oh.
and especially getting back from your hotel back to the airport. They'd make you do leave so early. It was like you would lose a lot of valuable time on the last day of your vacation.
Mm.
So there were downsides to it, but anytime you tell people anything is free, they're gonna get really upset once you take that away again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing I would be disappointed with is the how your luggage would magically appear in your hotel room.
Mm,
I never got to utilize that, but I'm
yeah,
sure it was nice while it
yeah.
lasted.
And that portion of it has been gone ever since the pandemic started.
Yeah.
They haven't been touching people's luggage. And I think so many people now have turned to ride shares, and Mears will still operate shuttle buses and vans, so they will happily take your money. There will always be a way to get to Disney. You
Yes.
don't have to worry about that. Now, the interesting thing I think about the early entry change, it's going from an hour to a half an hour, so you're getting less time early in the parks, but it's all four parks every day. And it
Yeah.
used to rotate between, which park had early entry, which means if you were an off-site guest and you weren't eligible, there was always one park that you could go to and be competing on equal footing with the hotel guests. Now, hotel guests will always have a 30-minute head start on uh, people who aren't staying at hotel. And if you're following a touring plan on a busy day and trying to rope drop everything, that 30 minutes can make a big difference.
Hmm. I think just with like the extra magic hours in the evening where you would get like 1 to 2 hours
Hmm.
extra, it's to me personally, and this may be different for those of you listening, it doesn't feel like a fair trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still miss back in the day they had, I think they were called e-ticket nights, where you could spend a few bucks and get like an extra 3 or 4 hours in the park, and it
Ooh.
would be practically empty. It would be, you just ride whatever you wanted over and over again. Um, the extra magic hours would often shift people's attendance patterns against their own best interests. And in fact, with the unofficial guides, we would often advise people to do the opposite of the extra magic hours. Because they would draw people like flies. They
Yeah.
figure I'm paying for this hotel room, I've got to use every perk, and sometimes they'd be busier than the non-magic days. So, but yeah, again, it's a bonus that people have gotten used to. People, have sometimes planned their vacations around, and they're not going to be thrilled that it's gone.
Yeah. We shall see. This new early entry will launch later this year, so
Yeah.
we will keep you posted.
Yeah, right now, there's kind of an unofficial early entry every day right now because all of the parks, in order to keep people from bunching up at the turnstiles, have been doing kind of a soft rope drop every day. As soon as the parking lots open, which can be up to an hour before the park opens, the park is open, the turnstiles are open, the rides are running. So right now, it's early entry for everyone. They just don't advertise it.
Keep that in mind next time you're planning a trip.
Yep.
Break
Uh,
out the tiny violins, friends. Uh, Man, I'm really sad about this. The grand opening of Super Nintendo World has been postponed.
Yeah.
It was supposed to open on February 4th, but because of a state of emergency related to I don't know what my voice did just then, for Osaka Prefecture, they have postponed it for now. The park is still open, but obviously, opening this land is going to make people come out in droves, and that's not at all safe with
I
COVID.
I feel like Universal is Charlie Brown and COVID is like Lucy with a football.
Yep.
Because, like, just before the first shutdown, they were going to open The Secret Life of Pets in Hollywood, and that got yanked away like, 48 hours before the premiere. And now this, they've had some sneak previews where people are able to go in and they, post anything on social media. And we're just getting about to see official footage of everything inside, and no, sorry, psych.
Yep. This state of emergency is in effect until February 7th, 3 days after the land was supposed to open. So it is safe to assume that we'll get a new date after that, unless the state of emergency is
Fingers crossed.
extended. Fingers crossed,
The
knock
only
on
good thing
wood.
about it, only good thing is it gives the two of us more time to plan our trip, right?
I want to go so bad. So bad. But,
It I keep checking for like a green pipe because I know there's got to be a warp tunnel somewhere in my neighborhood that will just get
right?
me straight out there.
Or like a painting you can jump into.
Yeah, yeah,
Something. Anything.
absolutely, absolutely.
I want to try all the fun food and see the Yoshis and find all the Pikmin. They're in there.
I especially want to try the food because I feel like Americans are not going to go for a lot of the stuff that they have, and it's probably going to be, westernized before it gets over here.
I know the
So,
mushroom popcorn. Come on.
love it.
Yeah, Drew said at least it'll eventually be coming to
Eventually,
America.
eventually.
Makes me think of that Amanda Bynes skit, the eventually superhero. Yeah, someday. And last bit for news in the queue. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know WandaVision dropped this past week. And last week I gave you my early pre release thoughts. And now Seth has watched it, and we can talk about it at large.
All right, well, we'll
No
try to.
pretense.
There may be spoilers here, so
Yes,
just a
spoiler
warning
alert.
if you haven't watched the first two episodes yet. But I thought it was fantastic. I've watched all of the Marvel shows, from the Netflix ones like Punisher and Daredevil. I watched all the seasons of Agents of Shield. I think this was probably the two best half hours of Marvel television that there's been. Because it works on so many levels. It works as an old-fashioned sitcom.
Hmm.
These are great characters, and the actors really are finding a lot of joy. It's obvious that they're really having fun on screen.
Oh, yeah.
But
It should be almost criminal how much
but
fun Paul Bettany is having.
there's so much going on under the surface. There's obviously so many layers and secrets and hidden Easter eggs and messages going on in this, and it looks like it's going to be a really fun kind of puzzle to watch it unravel. I obviously I have lots of thoughts, especially about those ending seconds of each episode,
Oh, yeah.
which is clearly the real world, the sitcom universe. I guess, without dealing too much into spoilers, because you've seen the next episode, and
Yes.
the rest of us mere mortals haven't. But maybe we can talk a little about. There's moments in each episode where we hear a voice, coming out of another universe, asking Wanda who is doing this to her. And so I guess the question we got to ask is who is that voice, and what's the answer? Is someone doing this to Wanda, or is Wanda doing this to herself?
I think It's both.
Yeah.
I think it's both. I have my own opinions. Obviously, if you've seen up through phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know Vision is dead.
Hmm.
He should not be alive in whatever hysteric fever dream Wanda's having right now. And at the end of episode 2, we saw that other things are coming into the picture. And
Very Pleasantville.
yes. And I have a feeling that someone in her neighborhood is involved. Um, gosh, this is really hard to say without spoiling
Yeah.
anything.
Well,
Um,
well, let's say this. I'm pretty sure Wanda is real because she's
yes,
she's our heroine. She's the star of the show. I'm pretty sure that she is real.
yeah.
I am not at all sure who, if anyone, around her is also real.
I think Agnes is real, and the neighbors are real, but they are either like um, in the early episodes you see the sword symbol,
Yep.
and that is an organization where shield takes care of the earth stuff, sword takes care of the space stuff.
Hmm.
These could be like agents of sword or various people caught up in Wanda's delirium, but
Hmm.
I think Agnes is real and aware of what's going on.
I would agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, it's very funny, but it's also, especially in that first episode, it's got some really dark, creepy moments. We were talking about last week, and you mentioned David Lynch,
yeah,
and as a David Lynch fan, at first I was like, oh, come on. And then I got to that moment, and I was like, "Yep, I totally see where you're going." It's got echoes of Blue Velvet and Eraserhead,
yeah,
and
for
that kind
sure.
of exposing the dark underbelly of suburbia. Yeah, I'm there for it.
And then, especially in the dinner scene in the first episode, where it kind of shifts from like the happy sitcom music to like that staticky white
Hmm.
noise garble that David uses a lot in across his filmography.
Hmm.
And using Kitty from that 70s show, really.
Great casting. Yes,
Oh,
great
I
casting.
just love her. I hope she's in the rest of the series. Um, but it was very scary and kind of unsettling. I remember watching it for the first time and I was like, okay, Marvel's made enough money that they're going to get a little weird.
Yep.
And I feel like this is only the beginning because this show is supposed to lead directly into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness,
And I
which
feel
is,
like they are preparing us for some serious weirdness.
oh my, yes, they are. And keep in mind, Sam Raimi is doing it
Hmm.
and he's nuts. I have my theory as to if Bruce Campbell is in that movie, who he will play. Um, and I really hope that it happens. I won't say because it could be considered spoilery for this, I guess, if my theory turns out to be true. But I things are not looking good for our girl Wanda, and I feel like everything is happy now, but we are going to get to a very dark, traumatic place with her,
Hmm.
and I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of the Truman Show meets The Prisoner here,
Yeah,
and I think it's gonna go get darker before it's over. So
yeah,
I'm
but
excited.
definitely, I'm so glad that this is what we're starting Phase 4 off with. I know it was supposed to start with Black Widow and Falcon and Winter Soldier, but this feels right.
Hmm.
This feels like we're getting primed for what's to come. And it's right up there as far as quality with the movies. It's great. It's funny.
I
I
actually really love the combination or the contrast of the old-fashioned practical effects and
yes.
then the CGI, and the way they made it really look like an old TV show, but then transitioned into the kind of modern, slick Marvel look.
Elizabeth said for the first episode, at least, all of the spinning plates and things, that was all practical and
Yeah.
puppeteered on set in front of a live audience, too, which is insane. But I can't wait to see what happens in the future. I can't wait to see your reaction to episode 3 because episode 3 changes things.
I might need to get up at 4 a.m. on Friday.
Oh, isn't it 3 a.m.?
The 3 a.m. Okay.
3 a.m. Yeah, because it's
Even
2
better.
a.m. for me because I
Well, then
can
I can just
stand.
wait. See, if it was 2, I could almost stay up till 2 a.m.
I see.
Have
I
enough
haven't
coffee.
done it yet. There have been times with Mandalorian where I'm like, do I want to stay up till 2 a.m. and watch it? But maybe I will, even though I've already seen this next one, just so I can like pour over it again, pause at every freeze frame, and see if any commercials in the future hint to more traumatic stuff. And I just love it. I can't wait. But that's it for me for news in the queue.
And our big news for the week.
Oh man, this was a freaking doozy.
Oof.
So I found out about this. I got a call, and I was speaking to one of our friends at Disney, and they were like, "You ready to take notes?" And I was like, "Oh God." And I had no idea what to expect. And they said Disneyland Resort annual passes will be discontinued. And I was like, oh my God. That's like an institution.
Yeah, this was a tough one when the announcement for this came out. I didn't I had to read it a couple times to make
Yeah.
sure I believed it. But the idea that Disneyland simply will not have annual passes when it reopens. Now that's not a forever thing.
Yeah.
They've explicitly said that they're gonna look at the market and look at what's possible and have new membership options in the future. But I think the annual pass, as we knew it, the idea of, paying one price and being able to go 365 days a year if you want, I think that's done for at least for the foreseeable future. Um, this is my Disneyland annual pass. Um,
It's a
and
relic.
it
Blow the dust
and
off.
it actually it had just about 2 weeks left on it when everything
Oh.
shut down. And for a while, when they were planning on reopening Disneyland, last year, and there was word that they weren't going to sell tickets, but if you had an annual passport, you would still be able to go. So I was going to fly out there, and I'll stay there for 2 weeks and go for every day as long as before my annual pass expires, because there had been a time when they say they were going to honor them but not let them renew.
Yeah.
But now it's yeah. If you've got one like me, I guess we're gonna get prorated refunds for whatever is still left. And if you had a bi-coastal passport, the Premier Pass, which I did have once about 10 years ago before it became insanely expensive, those you'll get a full refund on the remaining Disneyland portion. Um, but I don't know what do you think this is going to do to the Disneyland culture? Because there is even more than Walt Disney World. There is kind of like being a Disneyland annual pass holder is like kind of part of a lot of people's identity who live in that area. Like that is what you do. That is like your major investment for entertainment dollars for the year, and that's like a big part of your social life.
I can't imagine what the local Disneyland scene is feeling right now.
All the social clubs with their
The
motorcycle
jackets.
jackets. I got
I
where
just
are they all gonna go to Knott's Berry Farm? Are they all gonna buy annual passes to Universal Hollywood? Because if I was another theme park in the area, I would be reaching out. I would be given all sorts of offers.
I mean, Universal Hollywood did get a little shady. If you saw their tweet,
I did see that.
yeah,
They were
man,
just throwing some love to all the pass holders out there. There's
and a
not,
little
nothing wrong.
shade, little shady. Universal Hollywood did announce a similar change back in 2015. They added blockout dates and took away free parking, but they still call them annual
Yeah.
passes.
They modified them, but it was nothing as drastic
Yeah.
as this is.
And then I looked into Tokyo Disney's annual pass system because that's what I was told this would kind of be like moving forward, though that is like, not officially to say. But Tokyo Disney's pass is like a pass for one park or the other, pass for both parks, but they have blockout dates, obviously. And I didn't see anything about parking, but that's like a Tokyo thing. They're encouraged to use public transit to come to the resort.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so maybe we could see something like that, like a pass in the future where you don't get to park for free and you get to go to Disneyland or DCA, or you get one for both.
Yeah. My gut is telling me that when some sort of membership does come back, it's going to be something that lets you visit the park a certain number of times during the year for a discounted price. And they're going to,
Mhm.
you know, you might have a credit system or an old, ticket book system where there'll be certain days that are e-ticket days where they don't want annual pass holders going, and there'll other be less crowded days where they're like, sure, come on and use your annual pass. But I think whatever it is, there's going to be sort of like the park reservation system that you have at Walt Disney World, but probably even more restrictive because I think demand is going to overwhelm supply for Disneyland when that park reopens,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're going to want to get that ticket per day per capita cost way up. Annual pass holders who you take advantage of their passes are paying a lot less than those day guests. And I think if they're going to want to recover income once the park reopens, if they're going to want to make some money back, it's not through annual pass holders.
Yeah, because
Um,
what are they doing? They go to the parks, they don't pay to park, or they take a
mhm,
ride share, they get discounts on food. They might buy like one food item or two,
mhm.
maybe some merchandise that they also get discounts on, but they're not paying to get in.
Yeah. It's a nice kind of bone that they're throwing current annual pass holders because they're going to get 30% off select items at downtown Disneyland um,
Until
through
February something.
yeah through towards the end of February. But I from what I understand, inside Disneyland management for quite a while, there's been an idea of reducing the number of annual pass holders or eliminating the program long before the pandemic. Because they don't generate as much revenue per visit as a day guest, and because anytime Disneyland wants to change something or update something,
Oh
it's
gosh.
those longtime annual pass holders are the first to complain, first to scream on social media and threaten to cancel their passes. Well, now everyone's passes are canceled. You can't threaten to cancel your annual pass ever again because they've canceled it for you.
They're gonna have to adjust that welcome package when you move to Anaheim. Like you get your Disneyland annual pass. Not anymore.
Nope, nope.
I, man, I never expected this. Couldn't have seen it coming at all.
It's it's we're in a whole new world here.
Yep. But don't worry if you are a Disney World person. Their annual pass system will not be affected by this at all. So be happy about that. Because Disney World is more of like an international destination, and Disneyland is a locals' playground. But I guess they're going to try to adjust that for the future, at least for the time being.
Yep.
Man. Yeah, well, that was last week. It felt like curveball after curveball. And right after we recovered from one, we got another one.
Can we please have a slow news week?
Right? I'm tired of living through historical events and traumatic theme park announcements.
Yeah. Just one boring week, please.
Yeah, one boring week where I can show a video of Pooh dancing in the fields of Epcot or something. Be like, this is the most exciting thing that happened this week.
I
I
could
would love
definitely,
that.
yes. We should have that like the moment of nature at the end of CBS Sunday Morning. We should have that just like a character frolicking or something, just to give us a moment of zen, just to
Yeah,
cleanse the palate.
I love that. Well, I'll have to see if we can get someone out to Epcot to film some ambient video for us. And before we head out, I have a couple listener thank yous to share. If you didn't know, Attractions has a 3-tier subscription system where you can pick whichever one fits for you. But if you pick Club or VIP the week after you subscribe, you get your name shouted out here on the Attractions podcast. So big thank yous to Jason Wendrowski and Chad Hubbard. Thank you so, so much.
And we also want to give big thank yous to everyone who has left a review for us on iTunes and subscribed to us through iTunes. And if you haven't, please do. All of you folks listening in the live chat, head over and subscribe and like and share, please.
Yes. And if you are on Apple Podcasts specifically, we would really appreciate it if you gave us a 5-star review and said some really sweet things, because I don't know how the algorithm works, but that's how it works. And it allows other theme park people and beyond to find us. And we want to have more people watch and join our discussions about everything. So please do that. And we thank you if you've already done it. Seth, if you would, tell the folks at home where they can find you on the interwebs.
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at skuberski or at the UG series. And you can find my brand new book, The Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando 2021. It's now in bookstores and online at theunofficialguides.com.
Go buy it. You can find me at Brittany Tuttle. That's BRITTANITUTTLE. Yes, it's spelled funny on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, every single day at attractionsmagazine.com, at Attractions on Twitter, at Attractions Magazine on Instagram, and youtube.com/attractionsmagazine, where you're watching this if you're here with us during the live show. Thanks for coming by. And until next week, I hope you guys stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, but have fun. And we'll
Bye.
see you next time.